Hi everyone, how are you doing today? Just going to do a little quick thing about giving you some advice for what to do in an audition. I don't know if you'll ever be invited to do an audition or anything like that. You might not want to. Some people like to learn for singing for their own enjoyment, but they're not that fussed about going to a place like a choral society or a choir where they might have to audition. There are a number of choirs that don't ask for any auditions at all. The community choirs are especially good for that. If you're just wanting to get the fun part of joining a group and meeting new friends and things, don't get me wrong, you will learn some aspects of musicianship as you're learning, but you don't have that nerve-wracking procedure of having to go through an audition as you do it. So this is a little bunch of tips that I would do, and this is what I regularly do if I'm going to go for an audition. So first thing I would do is just planning logistics beforehand, even before you start thinking about what you're going to do and singing on the day and everything. Logistics wise, I always make sure I find out where my location is for the audition place, and make sure that that's it can be sometimes different from, like, say for instance the organization's headquarters. Yeah, auditions might not be there. It might be that they've hired a hall somewhere, so make sure you know exactly where the auditions are going to be. And I usually make sure that I stay over. If it's somewhere far away, then I would make sure that I stay over the night before, and I would stay in a hotel or something that's close to the audition space. And that means that sometimes I have to pay a bit more than I would normally for a hotel. But I find that peace of mind is better, because you don't want to worry about being stuck in traffic. And if you're down in London, if the tube's not working, it doesn't have to be right next door, but within walking distance. Even if you went down there the day before, did a dry run, walking to the venue beforehand. These are all things that just help settle your mind, eliminating problems before they begin. So you're in your hotel room and things. It's a nice idea to, if you can, just have a bath, get the steam down you. Do you know what I mean? Steam from the shower, steam for the bath can be really nice for hydrating your vocal cords. Helps them to relax. Don't spend the whole night the night before practicing over and over again, because you'll get into the pattern where you're almost sick fed up of the songs that you're going to perform. There's also the thing where you might feel a bit lost in them, but actually a bit more conscious thought, it would really help. So for instance, if you had a sheet with the lyrics of your song, looking at the words, I say this over and over again in my lessons, really think about what the words mean, even the choice of words. Why did they pick that particular word when another one would do? Because it really makes you think about what you're saying in the song, telling the story. That's where the different vocal colour for your voice will come in. It doesn't come from you trying to change the colour. If it does, then it'll sound a bit exaggerated and false. It comes from the thought. Thought creates the colour. So even if you were sitting in your bed, the things with hotel rooms nowadays, sometimes they don't even have seats. You were sitting in your bed, just looking at the words. That's good practice as far as I'm concerned. That's you practicing your songs, even if you're not actually singing. Because the thing is with singing over and over and over, you don't want to end up all tired and then you've got nothing left the next day. And there's also the aspect you might get completely fed up with it as well. So you're rising up in your morning of your audition. I say this because sometimes I don't actually feel hungry in the mornings. Please eat a breakfast of some kind. I know you might feel really nervous and you might feel oh, I'm not hungry at all. Get some orange juice, even a little tiny bit of cereal. Usually I try and time it for an hour or an hour and a half beforehand, that I will eat a banana before I go to my audition. That's because, I usually feel really, really nervous and I don't feel hungry at all, but I know I need to eat something. B is a little tip my friend gave me, so Stephen, who's in a ska band. You get that little boost of potassium and just a little bit of energy boost. And if you time it right, it'll come just at the time when your audition's about to start. As for warm-up, your venue might be, it might not have a place for you to warm up. A lot of these times when I go to auditions, you find yourself in your you've got your audition space and there's maybe a little hall where people can sit around and stuff, but that's it. There's no warm-up facilities or anything. So you might have to just go to the loo or something to, loos are good. They give you good acoustics in there. So even just warming up in the loo, and these are the things that I would do. I would start off with doing the like kind of panting things. You feel like your diaphragm moving. It helps you just feel more centered. You know what I mean? So I would start with. You might have to do it really quietly because maybe all the people here. So if I was doing it super quietly, I'm going to come farther forward to the microphone. You hear that really quietly? So just doing that a little bit. And then what I do, like more than anything, more than vocal warm-ups or anything, I do stretches. So I would be getting the power pose on, big star shape. And just do that for a little while because it's nice to stretch. Just hang your hands up in the air. You can do any kind of power pose that you want. You could do a big one like this. You feel it open up your shoulders. You could be crouching down and putting your arms out. Anything that makes you feel big and confident. I personally like my big star shape. And when we're doing a big sigh, and maybe just dangling down, a very gentle little stretch down to your legs and things. Just to stretch out your legs a little bit as well. I find it's quite good just to make sure that your bottom half of your body is warmed up before you're going to get ready to sing. Sometimes I would also try and do some stretches for going backwards. So I put my hands on the side of my waist and take a breath in. When you take a breath in, just looking up to your ceiling and just very gently bowing backwards a little bit like this. And what that does, it helps to stretch your whole torso. In yoga, they have a pose, I think it's called the cobra pose, where you would lie face down on the floor, and then you would use your arms to push your top half of your body up from the floor, but your feet are still on the ground. It's a really good stretch for your whole torso, and that's all the muscles you're going to be using when you sing, especially the really low abdominal muscles and the pelvic floor muscles. It's quite difficult to try and engage them at the best of times, but especially when you're trying to get ready for an audition, it's difficult. So another thing is to remember squeeze your pelvic floors, but you can do that anywhere. If you've been doing that for a while, then I could do it in the middle of doing this recording and you wouldn't know. So remember to do that. Just give them a squeeze sometimes. I'm also kind of mindful of the fact that when you're doing an audition, sometimes you don't have any facilities. You won't have access to a piano or anything. So just doing the sliding sound first of all, sliding up and down with your voice. And then my favourite one that I do is trying to get the sound to the front of your mouth. So these are the exercises that we do, like say for ma, me. Try and do it on one big long note. So it'd be like ma, me. You might have heard when I was doing that, I'm holding that hum sound on my lips. Ma. Never said about hold the sound, that taste the note, let it vibrate on your lips and let it go. Ma, me. And then we're going to go up another wee bit. If we do zazizi, zazizi. And then the next thing we do lip rolls. Oh, missed it. Then we do bra, bwe, bwee. See if we could try and do that on one note as well. Bra, bre, bree. And then we can just go up a little bit. If we do like a little scale, you could do one where it's just like halfway up a scale and then back down a bit. So we start with the brr sound, but then changing it to E. Bree. And then we can go up a semitone. Bree. And then we go up to, let's say, let's change to fra. So do a rrr. And remember when you're doing your rolled R, very relaxed right here. All these kind of exercises are about releasing your jaw, trying to encourage that upper lift inside your mouth. and letting the sound go to the front. So it might feel like when you're doing it, it might feel like our jaw is really loose. It might be an unusual feeling for you. It takes a wee bit of getting used to, but it really makes a difference to the sound that you'll make. Let's try free this time with a rolled R. Free. And if you go up a semitone, free. And another one that I used to quite like doing for warm-ups is a little scale. We do all the intervals going down the way. Then we go back up to the original note and do an arpeggio up the way. It's quite difficult, so you might not be able to do it, especially if you're a beginner. There might be parts of it you find it's too difficult for you just now, but you can maybe do the first half and not do the second half. So if I maybe sing it to E, so you know what I'm talking about. So it goes E. Then we go back up to an original note. And then we go up to a semitone. But this time if we try and maybe do a bra as we're doing it. So your A would have the two notes. Bra, 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 bra. Then we're going to try and do some more exercises. But this time, we would do that one again, singing to E, but quicker. So we go down a little bit lower because it'll be more comfortable for people who maybe want to try it going along. So if I maybe start with this note, so we're going to go E. Oh, I forgot it. Then we go up to the next one, see if we can remember going right through this time. So, we try this one, 1, 2. So I hope that's helpful for you. If you want to have a wee try, just listen to this a couple times, going through some of the exercises. If there's anything you're not sure of, please feel free to send me an email, jayne@musicisrforte.co.uk, or you can send me a quick message on Facebook. Thanks guys, I hope that was helpful for you. Let me know how you get on in your auditions.